Homeless people are looked at as the disregarded, the unworthy, and they feel as if they are constantly getting judged and looked down upon. Now, I'm not trying to make excuses for anybody's actions, but when you walk up to somebody and you're having a decent day, okay, and you're homeless and you just want to feel connected to people, you say, hey, how's it going, and people walk by you and completely ignore you time after time after time after time after time again. That begins to wear on you, and you begin to see that people are judging you, and you're looked at as undesirable. Oh, it's a filthy homeless person. They probably just want money so that they can go buy drugs or alcohol. Not everybody who's out on the streets do drugs and alcohol. Many people who experience homelessness turn to drugs as a way to cope with their reality and their circumstances in the moment. And many people are unable to come out of it because either they don't want to face reality, or the drugs have so much of a hold on them that they can't get the help that they need. And it's hard waking up every day, okay, when at the very core of you just want to be connected to people. And when you walk into stores, people automatically judge you by your appearance. And they either assume that you're there to steal something because you obviously can't afford anything. So they pass judgment, then they start harassing you. When in actuality, you might actually have the money to be able to go into a restaurant and to pay for a meal. But because of your appearance, it looks bad on the business and the aesthetics. So they try to run you off. Not everybody who comes out here and to a restaurant is looking for money. Sometimes people just come to a restaurant because they want to feel a connection to people, to try to have a sense of being normal again. But that doesn't exactly work out all the time. And most of the time it ends up backfiring. And after so many of these experiences, your heart is hardened towards people on the street, and you begin to change. With dealing with other homeless people, it's very, very, very hard to trust anybody because things always come up missing, or you try to help somebody out and they think that you're weak and they try to take advantage of you. And when you try to defend yourself, let's say that you actually do defend yourself, well, people get upset and get in their feelings. So they go out and they get their posse, or, the people that they run with. And then you get jumped, just for standing up for yourself, trying to protect your property that you worked hard for, And there is no real sense of community and humanity and connection between the homeless people. It's a state of survival. and you're not even really living. You're in a state of existence. And after being out here for so long, people don't get it, you know. At the very core, I believe that at the very core of every homeless person, they want to have that connection of being normal again, you know. But many people don't receive it because of how life is out on the streets, you know. In some situations, you know, it's literally life and death. People think that it's easy being homeless. It's not. And, you know, sleeping out on the streets is different than sleeping in a shelter. And sleeping in a shelter is different than being homeless in your car. There's different stages of homelessness, and they all have their own trials and tribulations. But people just kind of lump them all together in one category. And it makes it difficult because we as human beings were designed for human contact, you know. To help build each other up, lift each other up, help each other, give guidance, or correct people when they're wrong. But as a homeless person, you're not able to receive that, because when you walk down the street with everything that you own to your name, you're carrying it in your hands and you've got it on your back, you know. The look of disgust that you see in people's faces, you know, you see just total and complete judgment, like they've never struggled before in their life, you know, like they've never fell on hard times. And you feel condemned and you feel isolated. You feel judged and unworthy. And after years and years and years of experiencing this, you know, I'm pretty sure that you've seen homeless people lash out. You know, they throw, I guess, what you would call a temper tantrum. But everything builds because, and then they just explode because they don't have anybody to talk to. They don't have somebody that they can actually sit down and talk to about what's going on in their life, because in nowadays society, nobody cares, and they believe that money is the solution to all problems. You know, some people give money because they know what it's like to be homeless and they've experienced it for themselves and they have compassion. Some people give out of guilt. And then you have those who give as a way of saying, I don't really want to be around you, I'm tired of you bothering me, so here's a couple dollars, get out of my face. And when you experience these things and you're unable to have a connection with a normal person to be able to sit down and talk about the things that you experience, you have no way to vent it. You have no way to cope with it. And many people find that release through drugs and alcohol. It doesn't really release it. All it really does is numb you in the moment. And in the end, everything comes back, which is why people continue to chase the drugs and alcohol, because that's their way of learning through experience how to cope. Because when they actually try to sit down and talk to somebody, they're like, oh, I don't have time, or, I've got this going on, or I've got this going on, or they get completely ignored as if they don't even exist. I literally watched another person who was homeless, walk by and just wanted to feel a connection. It was like, hey, how's it going? Good morning. I hope you have a blessed day. And he did this to dozens of people. Dozens and dozens and dozens of people. And people flat out ignored him. People completely acted like they didn't hear him and he didn't exist. And I saw a couple people walking their dogs, and they acknowledged the animals before they actually acknowledged the homeless person. And that's very discouraging. And when you deal with that day in and day out, it becomes very tiresome. And you learn through your experiences that, oh, well, people don't want to talk to me because I'm homeless, or because of the way that I'm dressed, or maybe I might have a little bit of funk going on. But, in the end, they're still human beings. And every human being has problems, Normal people go out, after a hard day at work, they go out to the bar, okay? And some get drunk, some just have a few drinks. But when people look at homeless people, they say, oh, well, I don't give them money because they're just going to go out and spend it on drugs and alcohol. That's not necessarily the case. Sometimes you need money to be able to go out and buy socks, or a poncho, or a tent, or a sleeping bag to be able to stay warm. Not everybody who is out here buys drugs and alcohol, but that's a common misconception, between society and those who are homeless. I know me personally, after experiencing the things that I've experienced, I went through a lot of trauma. I don't really want to talk about it at this time, but what I will tell you is that when you don't get help for your trauma, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And it's a hard way to live. I mean, you grow to believe in your heart that nobody can be trusted. That, it's a hard way to live, because at the very core of every human being, they want to feel a connection, but it's hard to do that, These programs that are supposed to be out here to help you. So one program here, you'll have anywhere between 100 to 150 people inside, and you have 6 people that are trying to help 100 to 150 people. So, yeah, they help you get the necessities that you need sometimes, Sometimes they'll help you to be able to get a shower. Sometimes they'll help you wash your clothes, be able to get your birth certificate, social security card, ID. But a lot of people that are out here homeless need therapy because of the things that they have seen and the things they have experienced. You know,